Welcome, FAVR family. I'm Pamela Lowery with the FAVR Lifestyle Show. On our next segment, we're going to talk about news, sports, entertainment, and more. But most importantly, we have a mental health segment that you don't want to miss. Stay tuned to FAVR Lifestyle.
I don't really know what I should be thinking, but I know that I have changed. A better place now, a new season. Gone is the pain.
FAVR family, to God we give the glory. Good news is here. Welcome to the FAVR Show. I'm your host, Pamela Lowery, and today we have another amazing show for you. We're talking sports, news, and entertainment, and more. Okay, now we have someone here, Coach K. Give it to us straight. Give us the information.
I'm ready. Well, hello, Pam, and welcome back, FAVR fam. As she said, I'm Coach K, giving it to you straight with the love of the Lord, of course.
That's right.
Now, Pam, I want to pick up where we left off right here with the FAVR fam with our recent featured guest. I'm talking the talented gospel recording artist, actress, entrepreneur.
Talk about it.
Okay, designer.
Who?
Your overall superwoman, the talented Tamela Mann.
Now, you know we love Tamela around here.
I know. And she's back on our timelines. But this time for her 2022 NAACP Image Award nominations.
Wow.
Both of them.
Wow.
Yes, two.
She deserves it.
The Outstanding Album for Overcomer and Outstanding Gospel Song for Help Me. So we just wanted to take some time to say congrats, sis, and we are rooting for you, and we're just so excited.
We love to see this. We love to see it. Congratulations, Sister Mass. Congratulations.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think that gospel music as a genre is on the rise. I think it's taken the music industry by storm. In fact, Christian headlines recently reported that worship music, not to be confused with any other type of Christian music, worship music, those who know,
Okay.
has swept the Christian category in the Grammy nominations as well.
That's God. That's God.
Won't he do it?
Yes.
I'm telling you. And I think, it's just my opinion, y'all tell me what y'all think. I think this is why Motown Records, Motown Records, largely known for their secular artists, has just recently partnered with the legendary Clarke Sheard of the Clarke sisters.
Wow, that is so good. God is good.
I know.
Yeah.
That is going to be just an amazing partnership, and we're here for it. In fact, Motown execs are just as excited, reporting that only Clarke would be able to uniquely bring generations of gospel and R&B music lovers together with the power of her voice, of course, but the purity of her spirit.
See, that's nothing but God. That is nothing but God. And we salute you, Sister Sheard, for making it happen. That partnership alone is epic.
Yes.
Alone.
Yes. I'm a huge fan.
Yes.
I mean, catalog for decades.
Yes.
And I can't wait to see what they do together. And I'm just going to call it into existence right now. I can't wait to see her on the FAVR Show.
Yes, come see us. Come see us on the FAVR Show.
Come through.
Yes.
Indeed. We're going to be here. Okay. Now, God is also on the silver screen recently.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
He everywhere.
Good God-loving presence.
Yes.
And you know I love a good movie, especially like a feel-good one, right? So this is an all-time fave of mine. And I'm talking about way back since Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Oh, Lord. Marky Mark.
Y'all know about Marky Mark. What about New Kids on the Block?
Oh.
Okay, this is my guy. Mark Wahlberg is starring in his first faith-based film.
Ooh.
I know.
God is getting everybody.
Come on back, right? And so it is a true story depiction of Father Stuart Long, and Wahlberg is debuting in April. When asked his motivation for the film, says that it was a calling. He's a devout Catholic, some may or may not know, and he says that it was divine appointment, the timing of this film. He said people need faith.
Yes.
They need hope.
Yes.
Okay. Young men need to know what it's like to be a real man.
Yes.
And you're going to love this part, Pam. He says it was him who had to be obedient to God's calling. And that's why he did the movie.
Now, you know we can relate to that here at FAVR, because that's why we're here at FAVR, being obedient to God's call, and voila, now we're here. I wish more Christians would step out and take the leap of faith.
That's right.
And listen to God's call.
Yeah.
Kay, thank you so much for bringing us the scoop, the good news, and God's words. So next, we have Isaiah Stanback, and he's going to bring us everything with sports.
What's up, y'all? This is Isaiah Stanback, and this is FAVR Sports News and Notes. Now, just in case you guys may have missed it somehow, some way, but the largest event in sporting history has just went down. That was Super Bowl 56 between the Los Angeles Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals, holding it down right there in L.A. The Los Angeles Rams came out the victors at a 23-20 victory. They held this thing down, but you know we can't have the largest sporting event without having a little God in there. So prior to kickoff, we have Mary. They came out and they did Lift Every Voice and Sing. Now, I was going to give you all a little sample, but I don't want to show out today. So the 2 nights before that, they had the 22nd annual Super Bowl Gospel Celebration. Now, this is an amazing event. If you guys have never been a part of it, I've been blessed to be a part of it. And there is star-studded action every single year. This year, it was featured by the legendary CeCe Winans. They came through, Lecrae came through with the Unashamed Rappers. You had Pastor Mike came through with CeeLo Green. If you haven't seen that, go back and watch that on YouTube. Them boys went crazy. Anyways, for those that know. And then they also came through with Regina, okay? Miss Regina came through and she brought the NFL Players Gospel Choir. That's something I've been a part of, but I was in the background. So you guys go back and check that out. That was absolutely amazing. Now that the NFL season has ended, now teams have to start to recoup. They have to start to figure out exactly who their next guy is going to be, and that takes place March 1st through March 7th at the NFL Combine. That's where teams are going to be looking at the best players around the country to figure out exactly who's going to be contributing the following season to help them get to the Super Bowl again. Now, on the field, they're trying to figure out who's going to be the next guys. Also, in the studio, they're trying to figure out who's going to be the next guys. Fox and ESPN are in a battle right now to figure out exactly who is going to claim the victor to Troy Aikman, obviously the world-renowned Super Bowl, 3-time Super Bowl champion of the Dallas Cowboys, and now he's been in the booth doing broadcasting and analyst work. Fox has had him for a number of years. Now ESPN is offering him 5 years, $90 million. Yes, that's right, $90 million. That is $18 million per year. They are trying to take him away and bring him on Monday Night Football. We're going to see who exactly comes out on that, but the rumor is right now he's leaving. He's jumping ship from Fox, going on over to ESPN. Hopping over to the MLB, Major League Baseball. As everybody knows, they're in the middle of a lockout right now. Nothing has changed. They just decided to cancel the first week of spring training as both sides plan to meet every single day to try to come to some kind of conclusion on how they can proceed with some kind of contract going forward. This month's, Believers in Action Spotlight is going to be the former NFL cornerback, Mr. Lifford, Mr. Lifford Hobley. He is going to be our spotlight there. Please go to favormag.com to see that story right there. And until the next time I see you guys, I want you guys to write down 1 Corinthians 15:58. Be ye steadfast and abound in the Lord in all your ways. Regardless of what you may be going through in your life, regardless of what struggles, know that God got you. All right? Until next time I see you, right back to you, Pam.
Thank you, Isaiah, for that good information. Now, FAVR fam, God says pay yourself by saving. It's okay to have a little fun with your money, spend a little bit here, spend a little bit there. But do you have the tools to be financially responsible? When we return, Terri Thomas with Chase Bank will join us to give us some important tips to help lead us to financial freedom.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back, FAVR family. Joining me is Terri Thomas with Chase Bank, here to give us the scoop on what to do with our money. Now, financial literacy was not one thing that we learned in high school coming up.
Correct.
And as times change, money comes and goes. But a lot of people don't know, what is financial literacy? What's financial literacy, Terri?
So I break financial literacy down into two parts. It's going to be financial wellness and it's going to be financial health. The financial wellness is going to be the terms that we all know. What's budgeting, what's savings, those are the things that are financial wellness. But financial health is actually doing what we know.
Okay.
Right? So you put it together, and financial literacy is knowing and doing the steps and the things that we need for our financial future.
Now it sounds cute.
It does.
But when I see some shoes that I really want.
It don't. Yeah, and I meant that. It don't.
So we just have to stick to our budget.
Stick to your budget. Because if it's not in your budget,
Yes.
it's not in your plan.
How do you know what to spend? So say you see a shoes that's $150.
Okay.
When do you know it's out of your budget, other than you might not have enough money? But say you do have enough money. How do you put those mixes together to put that into your budget?
So you really look at, you've got to have a combination of knowing what's coming in and what's going out. And when you say yes to one thing, being those shoes, that means you may be saying no to something else. So really having a good handle on what your finances are will help you to be able to say, you know what, this is in the budget, I can go on ahead and splurge. And it may be, you know what, every month I'm not going to get a brand new pair of $150 shoes, but maybe once every 3 months, once every 4 months, if you've budgeted for it and saved for it.
So what is a reasonable amount that someone should share or save monthly? Because I know when I get out here and start spending, it's just like, oh, that was the money I was supposed to be saving.
Right.
And it's too late. So what's a good number?
So that's subjective, right? A good number for you
Might not
be a good number for me.
That's right.
So general rule of thumb is if you're single, you should have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in your savings.
Wow.
If you're married with children, you should have 6 to 9 months worth of expenses in your savings account. But then you also have to factor in personal comfort. So some people may say, you know what, my 3 months worth of savings is, $3,000, but I'm not comfortable with just that. I need to have $5,000 in the savings for me to feel comfortable. So really, it's going to be a personal decision.
Now, income tax season is upon us.
Yes, Lord.
So what should people be doing with that income tax? Should they pay towards debt or should they save it?
So I'm going to throw something in.
Okay.
They should probably do a little bit of both.
Okay.
And make sure you tithe from it, too.
That's right. Okay. Now, how much should I tithe? I'm listening.
You know it's 10%.
Okay, because
I don't know why you acting
well,
brand new.
somebody out there acting like they don't know 10%, and they might be making $100,000 and only giving $50.
Yeah, no. That's not the tithing we're talking about. That's an offering. So you need to tithe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So by a round of applause, does our audience members tithe or they just do an offering? Okay. I just want to make sure, because when you do give back to the Lord, He gives back to you
abundantly
in crazy ways. So what type of programs does Chase offer?
So they have great resources like myself.
That's right.
I'm a community manager. There are 150 of us across the nation. And so we provide and facilitate financial sessions. We work with our community home lending advisors who are committed to our Black and brown communities to home ownership. So if you want to be in a home, we want to get you in a home. Then we also have our senior business consultants. They provide complimentary business coaching, doesn't matter if you're a Chase customer or not, to Black and brown entrepreneurs. And they're going to focus on and work with you in 5 different categories, but mainly it's going to be your finances. It's going to be looking at your financials on your finances. It's going to be your operating model, looking at your marketing, and some other areas to help get your business to the next level. If you're at $100,000 annual revenue, we want to get you to $200,000. If you're at $1 million revenue, we want to get you to $2 million revenue. And I literally work with every line of business within Chase to provide services.
Now, how long would that program be? Because if you're trying to start a business or you have a business, how long is that program, and how can you, what is the time?
As far as the mentorship?
Yes.
So they're going to pick something that you need to work on, right? So it's your business and you're having concerns with your financials. So we're going to work on your financials. I'm going to feed you like a mama bird, and then I'm gonna let you fly.
Okay.
And then we're gonna come back together in about 6 to 7 months, see how you're doing. All right, now what do you need help with? And then let's figure that out. We'll mentor for, anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks. I'm gonna let you go. And do your thing, and then come back. And then we'll keep doing that until you feel you're at a level where your business has gotten to the next level, or there are other things that you still need to conquer and achieve.
Now, the housing market right now is crazy.
Hot.
It's lines down the street just to look at one house.
Yes.
But if I wanted to buy a home, what are some things that I can do to prepare myself? Is it just saving up enough money, or should I have my credit? What are you looking at what does Chase look at, or any financial institution look at, as it relates to purchasing a home?
So all of that is going to be a part of being prepared and getting ready for home ownership. So I really would recommend coming to a home buyer workshop that we provide. They're complimentary. It doesn't cost anything to attend, and you can get the basic information of what is needed. We talk about the different type of loan products and what's going to go into your process. Who is your team? How do you put your team together? And what do you need to look at when you're ready to buy a home?
Wow. Thank you so much, Terri, for all that good.
Yeah, one other thing. Don't let me forget, because we got some money.
Okay.
So there's a home buyer grant that we also offer.
Okay.
It's anywhere from $2,500 up to $5,000, depending on where you're buying the home. But definitely get with one of our community home lending advisors. They will be happy to look up your property, see where it's located, and if it qualifies for the home grant.
Okay.
Get that money.
Yes, that was good information. Hi, everybody. Great information. Terri, thank you so much for giving us that information. If you have any questions or want more information, visit our feature with Financial Facts with Chase and more at favormag.com. FAVR family, there is so much going on in the world today, and sometimes it can be difficult to keep up with everything going on, with many still not being able to go see their family members, to go to church, to just get out. But our main concern is what's going on in our mind.
Yes.
So I want to thank you both for being here, Gary Wardlaw and Andrea Wise-Brown, two therapists that can really help individuals that are in need of help. But in our society, it's a stigma. I'm not going to go see a therapist. I don't need to see a psychiatrist. I don't need any of that. So what is the difference between mental health and mental illness?
Yeah, so I can start off by explaining that mental health represents the condition of a person's emotional and psychological state. And there is a difference between mental health and mental illness. So when we speak about mental health, what we're talking about is keeping your mind healthy and strong. And that's there needs to be a proactive way, a proactive approach as to how to keep your mind healthy and strong. But when we talk about mental illness, we're referring to when your mind isn't as strong as it can be. However, there is help out there, and we can help you do that.
I think so.
Yes. So we've all experienced a family member who has experienced or needed help, mental help. But we didn't know how to really address it because in the community of color, it's a taboo to even say that you're struggling or you needed help, the old taboo, because now that has changed. What are some of the barriers to help for mental health or mental therapy?
What are some of the barriers?
From assessing therapy?
I think oftentimes there are probably 4 that come to my mind. I think 1, like you said, is the stigma, like we don't know what it is. I think 2, it's cost. When people look at how much therapy costs, we don't look at it as an investment. I think also the lack of access, in my opinion, in my experience as a therapist, it's the lack of access to Black therapists, specifically Black male therapists. I think that's also, it keeps you from going into a very vulnerable space to start talking about your feelings. And then I would say lack of education. We don't know what mental health is. We are afraid of what we don't know. We don't know what therapy can offer and provide us. So I think those are probably the 4 barriers that I would say off the top of my head that keeps people from accessing mental health.
So as it relates to the community of color, is the stigma changing?
Well, yeah, thank goodness. I'm glad it's changing.
Yes.
And it's because the community of color are also seeing people that they look up to on screen, on television, talking about it and normalizing the conversation around mental health. So yeah, anytime that you see stars like Taraji P. Henson, Charlamagne the God, even LeBron James talking about these different calm apps and you know, different ways of receiving therapy, right? Then it makes other people in these communities, in the Black and brown community, know that, oh, okay, this is something that I can do too. And it actually eradicates the stigma surrounding it. So it's not such a taboo word, and therapy is not a taboo thing to do. It doesn't mean that I'm crazy or something wrong with me.
Because that's what it is in the community, and it's okay to say you're struggling.
Yes.
It's okay to say that you need help.
Yes.
But see, even as Black women, it's the strong Black woman. So you have to be strong on everything, and you're suffering in silence. Because you may appear to be weak to say, I'm struggling, I can't do it right now.
But that's a lie, right?
Yes.
Because when you say that I'm struggling, what that actually shows is strength. You're telling your truth. You're being authentic. You're speaking out. And what you're saying is I'm worthy and I'm enough to get whatever the help is that I need.
Yes.
So there's power in saying that something's wrong with me. But the difference is, right, the weakness comes in when you start to believe in that narrative. That's negative self-talk, and it's lies.
But for years, we've gone through, well, I'm going to just pray about it. Baby, just go on and just pray about it. You're going to be okay. It's going to work out. So that's the stigma right there, where you're a Christian therapist. So why should we pray and also seek therapy?
Well, I think the first thing that comes to mind is for a long time, we only had prayer. Like if you go back to slavery, all we had was prayer and Jesus to get us through that 400 years of being enslaved. So for the longest, that was our coping skill. Times have changed. We have other resources, but I think because the stigma has been so thick, we've kind of done this. I don't know what therapy is. The reason why I say we should pray and should talk and should see a therapist is because it's healing. Each one of those separated are individual mechanisms that Christ can use to bring healing to whatever area it is that we have in our lives. So that's why prayer is so important. It's mentioned over 200 times in the Bible.
Yes.
That's why talking is so important. We're not supposed to keep things inside.
Yes.
Because in our culture, what stays in this house, what's done in this house,
It stays in the
stays in this house.
Yes.
So if you can open your mouth, talk, it is healing in that. So many times people call me, friends, family, and they say, oh man, I feel so much better. That's because it's been bottled up for so long inside. So again, healing when you start to talk about things. And then seeing a professional. We spend a lot, therapists that are licensed, we have our degrees, we spent 2 years in school, another 2 to 3 years in our residency program, getting our clinical hours. So we know and have a different training, a different eye than the layperson or the pastoral counselor to really address the clinical issues that we may find ourselves in, right? So that spectrum of mental health, if I'm on the higher end where, you know, things are good, I'm healthy, I'm doing the things that I should be, eating right, exercising, I'm on the spectrum of great mental health. But then I can fluctuate down to the bottom area of that spectrum. And that's when you will need that trained therapist to come in.
So what are the signs of depression? Because we have individuals, you go to work every day, you're doing the normal activities that you would normally do, and every day is not a good day, but what are the signs of depression?
So this is what I want to point out. Nowadays, that as we're talking about this conversation on mental health being normalized, a lot of times people are just using these words as if they really know what they actually mean. So just because I'm sad on such day, now I want to tell everybody I'm depressed. Right? Or just because I feel a little nervous, right, because I'm going to walk into a meeting or a classroom, right, or I have a presentation to do, then oh my gosh, you know, I have anxiety. And that's not really true. So there's a clinical diagnosis. Like we diagnose you clinically as being depressed or anxious.
And those symptoms are what?
Right. Sorry. So those symptoms
That's okay.
You got depression.
That's okay.
You know, I will talk. Okay. So those symptoms are okay. So when you are depressed, then what happens is you lose motivation. So you lose the motivation to get up to do anything. You can overeat or undereat. You can oversleep or undersleep, right? Loss of sleep. You also can have, of course, a very low mood. You can, let me see, be oversleep, we was rolling, sorry y'all.
That's all right.
Okay, good, okay. Lack of motivation, the things that you used to love to do, you know, you lose interest in the things that you used to love to do. And you get to a place where you feel helpless and hopeless. Helpless meaning I can't do anything, and hopeless, there's nothing for me and I can't see past tomorrow.
Okay, so what are the signs of anxiety?
Can I add one thing to that?
Yes.
It's also the length of time.
The length of time,
It's the length of time. So if it's persistent, if you're experiencing all the symptoms that you said for 2 weeks or 4 weeks or 6 months, there's different categories that will let you know kind of where you fall on that spectrum.
And you'll be able to identify that in friends or family members who are experiencing those things, because you can tell, you can see, okay, she's been laying around or he's been laying around, he's not doing the same things that he would normally do. Now, what is anxiety?
So anxiety is a mood disorder, and some of the common symptoms of anxiety, of course, shallow breathing, rapid heartbeat, sweating palms, undereating, overeating. Can get to the point where it cripples you, like you don't know what to say, how to say it. You can't turn your mind off. You're forgetful. Those are some common symptoms of anxiety from a clinical perspective. And if you look,
I was just going to say, can I just add in, right? Some procrastination.
Wow.
That's one, right? When I have these tasks to do and I can't get them done. For some reason, why can't I? Procrastination is one. And like you said, just feeling stuck, like I cannot move.
So would you say anxiety also is worrying about the future, and depression is worrying about the past?
See, and I don't like when, you know, I've heard that used before, and I think that it's more than that. Like mental health is not, you can't just put it in a box and say those two things. I think that people like to use those because it gives people a framework so that they have an understanding, but that's not necessarily true, because I can, you know, fall into depression now, not necessarily just because of something that happened in the past, but something that I'm dealing with right now that's current. So go ahead.
I'm going to add to the question of what anxiety looks like. From a biblical perspective, it can look like Mark 14, where Jesus is in the Garden of Gethsemane, where he was sweating blood. He was faced with the most important decision and really task that he had to do, and that's go to the cross. And you can, if you read Mark 14, you'll see how deeply distressed Jesus was. But the beautiful part about that was he was able to face his greatest fear, because Jesus was fully God and fully human. So if you look at that, it captures anxiety from a biblical perspective.
So there is a double-edged sword as we're going into mental health and social media. There's so many different images and things that we see on our screens for comparison or just whatever it may be. How has social media placed an impact, or what are the pros and cons of social media in mental health?
Yeah, so what NAMI just recently in 2021, they surveyed and did research, and what they're saying now is 47 million people in the United States are saying that they have symptoms of mental illness. And a lot of those people are referring to their emotional state after engaging in social media. Yeah, and it's because, it's when you allow social media to take over you, to take over, your feelings and your thoughts. So there should be a distinction between the use of this measure, right? And who it is that God says that you are and what it is that you're here to do. So you have to use social media and not allow social media to use you.
To use you.
Yeah.
So we've noticed in the news, Regina King's son, the beauty queen who also passed away. And there's been other people, so many people this year alone. What do you do if you find yourself in a stuck place and you feel as though hope is gone and you want to harm yourself? What should you do?
Please tell somebody. You have to tell somebody. You have to get help. There's a suicide hotline that I want everyone to keep near you. Put it in your phone. Just like the 911 is there and it's on your phone and you can push it, the suicide hotline needs to be there too. And it doesn't necessarily have to be there for you, but it could be there for your family members and your friends. If there's someone who's crying out, saying that they can't see past tomorrow and that they actually have a plan. Yeah, so we want to encourage them to get out and to get some help. Don't stay stuck because yes, today it feels dark, but lightness is out there. Yes, lightness is on the other side.
Yeah.
So with everything that's going on, what are some techniques that people can use? Some of our audience members, what are some techniques that we can use to help ourselves even when we're at that point?
I would say the first one is free, doesn't cost you anything, is your breath.
Yes.
The power of your breath. We know that deep breathing controls our parasympathetic nervous system. So our PNS. It controls our breathing. It lets us know, it tells our brain, that it'll be okay. It calms us down. It puts us back into that normal state. It
So
gets us out
simple
of fight or
breathing
flight.
techniques.
Simple breathing techniques, the power of our breath.
Yeah, and we call that meditation. Another thing is exercise. And I talk about 6 pillars in my book that actually highlight there's 6 things that we can do, the audience members too, that you can use to keep your minds healthy and strong. So exercise is one. Just getting out and exercising, if you do it 5 days a week, just 30 minutes, what it does is it increases the dopamine in your brain. So that's a neurotransmitter. That's our natural feel good. So if you exercise, that will happen. In addition to that, it also expands on your creativity and your motivation. So just doing that, getting out and walking.
Now I got a question for you.
Okay.
What if you have older members who are experiencing depression? Because again, there's a stigma with needing help, but older family members are not going to go to the therapist. What can we do to try to help break them out of that cycle of depression or just even being sad? Because aunties and uncles, I'm not going to see the therapist. Ain't nothing wrong with me.
I think you can support them. I think if the relationship is there, normalize the conversation, encourage them. As therapists, we know that the people that come to the room are the people that want to be there. So the best thing that we can do is how do we best support you? Say that you'll go with them, because another part of this mental health piece is it's always individualized. And as a family therapist, I work with the entire system.
Okay.
So if you can bring somebody that's the identified person that's struggling, but you come along with them in the therapy room, it actually reduces the stigma that they feel or the shame that they feel that it's something wrong with me. So the best advice that I can give is come with them. Get on the phone call with them so that way they know they have someone that's beside them.
Okay.
And I would add to that, yes, I agree, but I would add to that, to keep talking, like keep talking about it. You want to, little by little, you want to break down the barriers around the whole mental health stigma. So you keep talking, and I think it's powerful when you talk about your personal story. So if I have an uncle and I'm identifying that it looks like he may be in crisis, sometimes I just want to have a real conversation, an authentic conversation, where I may even share with him something that I had been going through. And let me just tell you something, Uncle Tom. I actually went to go see such and such and such. And when I tell you they're really good, you know, even if you want me to drive you there and take you there, I'll do that. We don't have to tell anybody. So I think it's about the relationship.
Yes.
And I want you to keep talking to them and then share your personal story with that loved one.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of this great information that you just dropped on us. We'll also put your information on our link on our website. Stay tuned for more, you guys. We'll be right back after this segment.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Favor fam, the victory has already been won because the spirit that is in you is greater than the spirit that lives in the world. I want to thank you all for joining us. But before you leave, I want to let you know that when you keep God first, everything will fall into place. For his word, it always stands true. God bless and take care.